Hey everybody, Bruce Taylor, the Boomer Consumer, and today we're reviewing the Adam Audio H200 headphones. Now these were sent to me by Adam Audio for review, however all opinions are my own and no one has reviewed this video prior to posting. So let's talk about these. A little bit about Adam Audio. I'm familiar with them because they are big time in the recording business. They're in studios. They build equipment for recording studios and their headphones and so forth. And the idea is these are designed to give you a flat frequency response for things like tracking, mixing, other uses. But you know what? They're great for content creators. They're great for even everyday music listening. Okay, so if you're looking for headphones that give you a flat frequency response, well, look no further. So Adam Audio, I think, was founded around 1999. They're in Berlin. They're a German company. And I think that the Germans build some excellent stuff. So let's take a look at a little bit more detail about these headphones. I should mention the price is $179. I do have a link down below if you want more information. Now, as far as I look for three different things in headphones, and this is kind of how I do it. The first is comfort. I don't care how great they sound, how well they're built. If they're not comfortable, you won't wear them, you won't use them. And so on that point, these are fairly comfortable. These are a memory foam leatherette type of ear pad, which, by the way, are replaceable. You can take these off and replace them. And so is the headband, the material in the headband. That's also replaceable. So it's a pleather with memory foam. I thought it was a little tight, but you just got to stretch it out. No, these do fold up a little bit, but they don't rotate. The cups don't rotate on them. There is a nice little carrying case. Let me show that to you. Well, first off, let me show you the box that it comes in. Whoops. There we go. This is the box. Not super fancy packaging, right? Not super fancy, but they do that to be environmentally friendly. Included in the box is a 3-meter audio cable, 3.5 millimeter on one end, actually on both ends, and then they give you this 6.35 millimeter adapter on here. And the cool thing is that you can use this cable and connect it to either ear cup. Either one will work. By the way, they're marked right and left. See? Kind of cool. Also included is this nice little travel bag on there, so you can just package this up and off you go. Frequency response is 2 hertz, 2 hertz. That's what it says, to 23.5 kilohertz, way beyond what anybody could probably really hear. As far as the build quality goes, this is on a metal frame, right? I think they call that the yoke. It's all metal. I think it's aluminum. Very nice. The ear cups themselves, well, it's plastic. And this is, again, a pleather headband on here. And it's fairly comfortable. I will say, though, that after a long period of time, my ears got warm. But you can get, I believe, a soft ear pads from Adam as well. Nice and stretchy. And you can see that they're relatively well made. They should hold up for a long time. Now, as far as the features, again, once this is a closed back headphone. And these will fit right over the ear. Depending on how big your ears are. I got big ears. Sometimes, it might not fit so well. But these also have what Adam Audio calls the peak driver, which is essentially polyether. Yeah, it's polyether ether ketone, which they call peak. And it's basically a driver material that handles temperatures a little bit better than some other materials. And that's the reason behind that. The neodymium magnet drivers in the drivers as well. Now, another cool thing is the fact that Adam Audio also provides a plug-in in for DAWs, your digital audio workstations, that you can actually shape, contour, and adjust how these sound. Now, I don't have a DAW really, or the plug-in, but yep, you can do that. Okay, so I said there was 3 different criteria. So first is comfort. Second, in my opinion, would be build quality. Again, if these don't hold up over time, then what's the point? If they're just going to fall apart on you, there's no point in having them. Third is sound quality. If they sound terrible, obviously you're not going to use it either. But these actually sound fantastic. There's no if you are looking for flat sound and very detailed sound, this is going to fill the bill. Does it fill the bill or fit the bill? Whatever. At any rate, let's talk a little bit about the gear that I use to review these headphones. Okay, so I used the WIM Ultra Streamer going in via USB into a topping D70 Pro DAC. And out of the DAC, I went into the X-Duo TA20 tube-based headphone amplifier. That's one way I tested. Another way was with the HIFIMAN HE400 being fed by a Mac Studio via USB, and then into a vintage Pioneer SX950. I tried it that way, and also with my Marantz PM8006. So I used a variety of devices to check these out. And generally speaking, the vintage gear sounded maybe just a tad bit warmer. The tube also gave it a nice warm sound. The Marantz, not quite as much, but it's still a very flat sound. Now, as far as my music selection, the first was Tom Petty's Full Moon Fever. And that is, I think, probably Tom's best album ever, in my opinion. It's got some of his major hits on it. It's a good, solid, classic rock album. And of course, I streamed that through the WIM Ultra, and it sounded really good. If you've not heard Tom Petty's Full Moon River, it's a treat. But I think the next album probably impressed me even more. And it's from a band called Camel, and it's The Snow Goose. And this was their third album, and it was recorded back in 1975. I believe actually the title is inspired by The Snow Goose. But if you look up The Snow Goose, that's what it is. Third album recorded in 1975. The idea I believe the band had was, let's find a really cool novel and let's base a music album based on some of the lyric or some of the writing in the novel and come up with some music for it. Well, apparently the copyright holder didn't like that, so they had to rename it a little bit as to inspired by The Snow Goose. Just a little bit of history for you on that. It is, I think, one of the finest examples of the real beginnings of prog rock. I really do. I think it's it's instrumental. It just sounds phenomenal. Check it out. Stream it. The Snow Goose, Camel's inspired by the Snow Goose album. So let's talk a little bit about sound quality. All right. The quality of the sound is excellent. All right. It is well balanced. It is essentially a flat sound. There is bass is controlled, it's tight, but it's not overpowering. Again, it balances very smoothly when you start going up to the mid bass. As far as mid-range is concerned, it is neither forward or is not held back. It is just right, smooth, on point. Highs are clean and bright without being fatiguing. So the sound quality is very, very good. But again, if you had a DAW and the plug-in, you could actually adjust the sound of these. Right? You absolutely could. A nice little braided cord type of thing coming out of the sides here into the ear cups, which are replaceable. And again, the headband is also replaceable. Now, I found these to be fairly comfortable, but let's talk about some of the pros and cons. One, this is definitely going to be excellent for content creators who want to make sure that they're listening to accurate sound reproduction. That's number one. Number two, I think it's a very good value for the price. The quality's there, nice drivers. I like how they label the left and right ear cups on here. That's fine. I just think it's a good value for the money. The sound quality is outstanding. I have no issue with that. And it does have a plug-in, again, to adjust the sound signature of these with the DAW. Is there any negatives? Yeah, I think that you really got to break these in because I find them kind of on the snug side, a little bit almost overpowering at times. But as I continue to wear them, it gets better and better, more comfortable. And I would also recommend you look into maybe the soft ear pads as well. because I found that these get quite warm on the ears after a long listening session. That is pretty much it. I would recommend these to anybody that is definitely a content creator or obviously in a studio. But like I said, if you're going after that flat frequency response, that's what you're shooting for. And it's very hard to do with a conventional 2.1 stereo system, right? Yeah, as you know, it's very, very difficult to achieve. This is your gate. This could be like a gateway drug for you. You could get this and go, wow, that's what it sounds like. And take it from me, I really enjoyed the time that I have spent reviewing these H200s. That's it. Bruce Naylor, the Boomer Consumer. Look forward to your comments down below. Take care.